Asimbonangu Mandela thina laphe khona laphe hleli khona.
When I went to school, the lady teacher, Miss Mdingane, asked, "What is your name?" I told him my African name, Kholikhlas. He says, "No, I don't want that one. You must have a Christian name." So I say, "No, I don't have one." She says, from today, you are going to be Nelson.
Look across the island into the bay. We are all islands till comes the day we cross the burning water. Asimbonanga, Asimbonanga Mandela thina laphe khona laphe hleli khona. Asimbonanga, Asimbonanga Mandela thina laphe khona.
We have made it very clear in our policy that South Africa is a country of many races. There is room for all the various races in this country. There are many people who feel that it is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
Ubani bengathinta mabubesi impi bonansi mpieza ubani bengathinta.
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all nations live together in harmony and with equal opportunity. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
All along the river, Chelmsford's army lay asleep. Come to crush the children of Mageba.
I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. I place the remaining years of my life in your hands.
Asimbonanga, Asimbonangu Mandela thina laphe khona laphe hleli khona. Asimbonanga, Asimbonangu Mandela.
Never, never, and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another.
Look across the island into the bay. We are all islands till comes the day we cross the burning water. Asimbonanga, Asimbonanga.
humbled by the call for an annual Mandela Day in our honor. Our struggle for freedom and justice was a collective effort. Mandela Day is no different. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. It is time for new heads to lift the burdens. It is in your hands now.
These graves mean a great deal to me because my beloved parents lie here. And it arouses a great deal of emotion for me to be here because it would be fair to say part of myself lies buried here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and anticipation that we welcome a remarkable voice for social inclusion and human rights. As the granddaughter of the legendary Nelson Mandela, Swati Mandela embodies the spirit of resilience, compassion, and leadership that her grandfather championed throughout his life. In addition to her distinguished heritage, she is a co-founder of the WBAF Global Women Leaders Committee, where she works tirelessly to empower women and advocate for equality across the globe. Her commitment to social justice and her passion for uplifting marginalized communities resonate deeply in today's world. We are honored to have her insights and perspectives as we strive for a more inclusive future. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to the stage, Swati Mandela.
Thank you for that beautiful, wonderful video. It really brought my grandfather to life. I don't think I've watched anything of his or seen anything of his in a long time, so I feel like he's in the room after that. So whoever put it together, really, thank you. Beautiful. Excellencies, ambassadors, and high commissioners, honorable minister, former minister, senior officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It is an honor to join you all today and to contribute to this important conversation. In starting, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Bahrain, for his exceptional support and patronage. I believe that His Royal Highness's steadfast commitment to advancing innovation, championing social inclusion, and nurturing Bahrain's entrepreneurial ecosystem will be pivotal in bringing this event to life. I would also like to acknowledge the CEO of the World Business Angel Investment Forum, Mr. Baibars Altuntas, on behalf of the entire World Business Angel Investment Forum community. I extend our heartfelt thanks for your visionary leadership in recognizing the contributions of women in business and society. 4 years ago, when I addressed this forum, the world was only a few weeks away from recognizing that what had been a public health emergency of international concern would soon be declared a global pandemic. Because of this, we've all had something to lose. Some have lost jobs, others hope, and even loved ones. For once in a very long time, the world has converged to agree on one common point: the fact that we have, in some point of our various experiences, had to admit that we cannot fully control what tomorrow looks like. Apart from shining a light on unsustainable strategies and policy frameworks, the pandemic has also exposed the inequality of many of us have been so well versed in and talking about, but not necessarily able to quantify. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres captures this so well when he says, although the novel coronavirus affects every person and community, it does not do so equally. Instead, it has exposed and exacerbated existing inequalities and injustices. The world is very good at moving on and investing a lot of money in creating new things. At times, this is done at the expense of the present. And so, to me, the pandemic, like many other crucial episodes of our human history, is an important piece of context, and it will continue to be a historical reference point, I'm sure, for many of us. We see this in the rapid actions that governments across the world have taken to speed up sustainable development goals. With a common view of a need for an inclusive outlook to growth, I believe we need to have the same universal conviction when it comes to our view on leadership. Here are some questions that remain in my heart. What new prescriptions are we tabling towards a new moral leadership that will be crucial for charting a change in the socioeconomic justices of women all across the world? How are we building regions and countries where we can be proud to hand over to the next generation? For generations, women's work and contributions have been the invisible threads holding communities, markets, and cultures together. But as we face the shifting tides of the global economy, we see an unprecedented opportunity to write a new future, one built openly on the quiet, resilient power that women have exercised for centuries. In developing regions particularly, women continue to be the bone structure of local and national economies. Research shows that in sub-Saharan Africa alone, women make up over 50% of the informal workforce. Yet, despite their essential contributions, these efforts remain economically invisible and often go unrewarded. Empowering women by formalizing their roles is not only just, but is projected to add $12 trillion to the global GDP by 2025. To create this new economy, we must actively invest in the frameworks that allow women to lead and lead from the front. This means allocating resources specifically towards the unique models of wealth building and influence that women naturally bring to the table. Network-based financing, social entrepreneurship, and community investment are vital. Leaders must recognize that empowering women to lead in the economy does not merely include them, it establishes a new legacy for future generations. The future economy is one where women's foundational contributions become its visible central pillar, evolving systems in ways that are practical, resilient, and human. Like my grandmother, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who laid the path for future generations through her countless sacrifices, millions of women today build their communities quietly and courageously. We, all of us in this room, owe it to them to rewrite our economic systems so that their work is valued, it is visible, and transformative for generations to come. Empowering women is not about adding them to the economy. It is about honoring them as the foundation on which sustainable progress is built. One of the weightiest privileges of my life has been the opportunity my grandmother entrusted me with. It was to convert her diary she had kept during her detention in apartheid South Africa between the periods of 1969 to 1970 into a book that documents her experiences during 491 days of incarceration, including solitary confinement, physical hardship, and emotional turmoil. Her experience is a testament to the lengths that the apartheid government went to in order to suppress voices of dissent, particularly those of prominent Black South African leaders. What I have learned from this experience and what I continue to learn is this. A fatal evil of our time is that human beings, we've taken it upon ourselves to seek to endorse the worthiness of others above ourselves, therefore rendering a superiority complex in how we relate to other people. As leaders, we cannot ignore the systemic impact of untamed power. It can, as we have seen in the South African context, rob entire nations of the one thing all human beings should have in the midst of chaos: hope, dignity, and bread to eat. I am convinced that we can live in a world where success is measured not by isolated gains, but by the intergenerational prosperity of entire communities. This is not the economics of the individual, it is the economics of the whole. Women have long understood and practiced this form of capital, creating bonds of trust, mutual advancement, and shared opportunity. This collective capital is an uncharted, powerful driver for sustainable growth, unique in its potential to transform societies through relational strength and collective resilience. Leaders and policymakers like yourselves must recognize and build upon this anecdotal example for catalytic wealth creation. We must enable women's economic advancements through collective capital means, investing in structures that prioritize communal gains, mentorship ecosystems, and multi-generational wealth. This is where the World Business Angel Investment Forum can lead by example and has. Creating cooperative funding networks, generational mentorship programs, and shared equity investments that reach beyond individual achievement, cultivating sustainable, interconnected economic framework that secures prosperity for future generations. I heard a sobering saying that has walked with me since, and it is, I quote, "There is no such thing as a successful business in a failing society." I implore us today to not ignore the need to use our privilege as an enabling ground for better opportunities for others. We have to refuse to retire from the call to be better and do better. We need to cultivate new soil, a soil in which the ravenous hunger for power that causes exclusion does not easily grow. The soil in this case is the power of new narratives. As a woman, I've had to be intentional about erasing from my own inner narrative the notion that I'm only a resilient survivor of economic systems. Instead, I have adopted the view that I am an architect of a new, emergent human economy that values sustainability, inclusivity, and holistic well-being. The story of women's economic participation must move beyond resilience to recognize women's profound vision for a transformed economy that speaks to the heart of human value. This narrative isn't an easy answer to the old, it's an entirely new story, one that does not measure progress solely by profit margins, but by the health, inclusivity, and long-term impact of every initiative centered around women's economic emancipation. Embracing this new narrative requires not only policy change, but a change in vision. Leaders must invest in women-led enterprises that prioritize social returns, environmental responsibility, and community health. By establishing incentives, investment vehicles, and leadership structures rooted in these values, we empower women to drive an economy that is fundamentally human. This is not about replacing old systems, it is about embracing the new, amplifying the story that resonates because it aligns with our shared community. This is what I have to leave you with today. I was born and primarily raised in Bramford, where my grandmother, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, lived under forced exile, a place which was chosen to silence her, to break her, a place meant to hold her far from the heartbeat of a changing South Africa. Bramford, which means burning fort, was not a place of comfort. For my family, it was a place of endurance. Through the close curtain I had over my grandmother's life, I have learned that strength can be found in the spaces where voices are stilled and movements restricted, yet resolve deepens. Although the true and equitable socioeconomic emancipation of women may sometimes feel like an attempt to endure and overcome another Bramford, we have to deepen our resolve to cultivate new soil, to dream new dreams, and to be willing to labor until we see change. My family's legacy teaches me continuously that real change begins with a new vision, one that is rooted in purpose and possibility. Thank you.